In case you forgot to do lesson 1, 2, or 3, or needed extra instructions, I made this video to help you out. Lesson 1, the staff, notes, and pitches. This is how the assignment looks like. Lesson 2, the treble, clef, and staff. And lesson 3, the bass clef and staff. So let's go ahead and start off with our staff. Now, we gotta draw our staff first. There are 5 lines in the staff. And just like the name says, 5 lines in a staff. Also, you have 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also on the staff, you notice there are 4 spaces. You also have 4 spaces in your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, you noticed I numbered them from the bottom to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's number our lines bottom to top. And our spaces. Let me do it from this side too, just so you can see. And no confusion. And 4 spaces. So in your assignment it says to draw an X or mark an X in the following location. The first example is asking you to do it on line 1. So the center of the X has got to be right over that spot. So the center of line 1. As you can see, it's right on there. If it's off by a little bit, that's perfectly fine because nobody's perfect, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Now, let's say it's asking you to draw an X in a space. The second question is asking you to draw an X on the second space. So 1, 2, right here. The center of that X is right in the center of that space right there, as you can see. Now let's talk a little bit about the pitches. The higher the pitch is written, the higher the sound is going to be. The lower the pitch is written, the lower the sound is going to be. So right here, boys and girls, we see our line notes, our space notes, excuse me. These down here are in space 1, 2. These are in 3, 4. So 1 will always be the lowest one. It's going to be lower than all the other ones. A quick way to tell that is just see where it's written. It's written low, so it's going to sound low. The one in the 4th space is written high, so it's going to sound high. Now there's going to be some confusion right here with our line notes too. They are very close. Sometimes they're very, very close, so you cannot tell them apart. And probably in this video you can't tell really well because I cannot zoom in. Working on things, technology problems. Anyway, so right here, it's the center of the circle is right on that line. When you draw a line note, make sure the center of that circle goes right through that line. If it's a space note, make sure your circle fits between the 2 lines. Just like that. Now, in one of the questions, number 4, indicate whether the second note is higher or lower than the first note. Now, boys and girls, there's your first note. There's your first note. It's asking you for the second note. So the second note, we have to figure out if it's lower or higher. Let's put it right here. Well, one good way to quickly figure out what's going on here, identify where is it on in the lines or spaces. Now the third line, line 3, is always the center. Okay? Now this note is in the 3rd space. Mr. Ruiz, it's on the 3rd line and 3rd space, so they both sound the same pitch, right? No, wrong. They are slightly apart from each other. It is very close. However, the one in the space is higher than the one on the line. So that's it. I hope that can help you out. Also, read the directions carefully on that worksheet. So many of your classmates forgot the first one in years past, where it says, connect the dots to make a straight staff. And then it says, number the lines and spaces. You already know how to do that. And if you forget how to do that, look at the top of your sheet, and it reminds you how to do that. Let me go ahead and erase this. Now let's talk a little bit about the musical alphabet. In the musical alphabet, there are 7 letters, and we recycle them. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, if we are out of letters, we're not completely done. These are not the only 7 notes we can play. We go over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now let's look at our treble clef first off. Make sure that's dry. Let's do a little wet there. I'll dry it over here. 5-line staff. I love this tool. Makes me feel like Wolverine sometimes. So our treble clef, in case you forgot how to draw it, you start with your backwards J with a tight hook, then semicircle. Make another semicircle, hit that bottom line, and then you finish by wrapping around the second line. If it's not perfect, that's fine. It took me years to actually draw a treble clef. Before you know it, you'll be getting it. It's important, though, that in the treble clef you wrap around the second line. I'll tell you about that in class in a few days, but I will let you know now. The treble clef is also known as the G clef. If you can figure that out, you're super smart. But I'll share that secret with you in class at another day. Let's look at our bass clef now. Our bass clef, we start with our 4th line. Draw a dot on the 4th line. Give me a half heart. Then you put a dot in space 3 and 4. The bass clef is also known as the F clef. And I'll share that with you in a little bit too, just like the treble clef. Once again, bass clef, you start with your dot on the 4th line, half heart, and then dot dot, space 3 and 4. Bam, super easy. And like I said, if you mess up, that's fine. I'm just asking you to try. So let's look at our treble clef. Let's go more into detail with our treble clef. Draw my clef, as you can see. I kind of messed up a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and label our line notes. A good way to remember it: every good boy deserves fudge. Those are the line notes from bottom to top. You can also say whatever helps you out. Every girl band deserves funding. Every gray big dog frolics. Whatever helps you out is perfectly fine. Those are the line notes: E, G, B, D, F. What are the spaces? Everybody has one of these. Face. Like this. Everybody has a face except for John Cena. You can't see him sometimes. Anyway, E, G, B, D, F for the lines, F, A, C, E for the spaces. Now, you probably noticed this right here. As it goes up, the letters go up. As it goes down, the letter goes down. So the musical alphabet as the notes are higher, the musical alphabet goes in order. As it goes down, the musical alphabet goes backwards. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. And that's your treble clef. Let me double check, make sure it's not asking for any additional information on this sheet. And in case you forget any of this information, by all means you can rewind and watch this video again. Also, the notes on this sheet will definitely help you out. Look at the very top of that page. Now, I was just making sure I'm still recording. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our bass clef. I think we have plenty of space here. Yeah, we have plenty of space here. Adjust my chalk. Uh-oh. I'm still working it. I'm still working it. There we go. So we're going to draw our bass clef first. Now the bass clef and treble clef are different notes, in a way. I'll explain that to you more in detail later. We still use the musical alphabet for bass clef. Certain instruments will use the treble clef, certain instruments will use the bass clef. If you are a flute, trumpet, clarinet, alto sax, you're going to be all about that treble clef. If you are a trombone, tuba, baritone, you're all about that bass clef. There are some baritones that read treble clef and some that read bass clef. What's the difference in the instrument, Mr. Reese? Not a thing, really. Not a thing, really. It's just from different schools, different system, different schools of thought. Now, the musical alphabet also, kind of like the treble clef, is used in a bass clef with the letters going up and back down. As the notes are higher, the letters go up. As the notes go lower, the alphabet goes down. A good way to know our lines in bass clef G, B, D, F, A. Good burritos don't fall apart. Now, if you're one of those people that say, I don't like burritos, you haven't tried the right one. There are burritos made from different kind of things everywhere in the world. There are some made with chicken, some with beans, some with rice, some with eggs, some with ham, some made out of spinach. Okay, I need to stop, I'm getting hungry. Moving on. So, your line notes on the 5-line staff for bass clef, G, B, D, F, A. Now, what are your space notes? Well, let's figure out what's missing here. G, B, D, F, A. We're kind of skipping something here. We're skipping our letters here. G, B, D, F, A. So we see A, C, E, G are missing. And those are our space notes right there. A, C, E, G. Or all cows eat grass. And that's your bass clef. So I hope that this video helps you out. Lesson 1 should have been turned in Friday. However, if you needed an extension for whatever reason, maybe you were absent, I understand map testing was happening and that sometimes throws off scheduling. It's important to always communicate with me that, hey, I need an extension. Or, hey, Mr. Reese, I wasn't in your class that day. This lesson right here, the treble clef and bass clef, lessons 2 and 3 on your worksheet, is due Tuesday. You're more than welcome to use this video to help you out over the weekend or even Monday night. And don't forget, Monday we need our instruments. Well, I hope this helps out. Have a wonderful weekend.